The fear of failure can be really, really detrimental to your overall success. A lot of projects, you go in and you're so worried about the outcome and how things are going to turn out that that process in itself leads to the failure that you're fearing. And it maybe won't be the exact fear. Maybe you think it'll be a total bomb, it'll never work out. And I'm definitely one to recommend working through all taking the proper precautions, planning out the worst case scenario. But if you over criticize your own work and you over fear what may be from the project you're working on, it can end up leading to it being less successful than if you were to roll the dice a little bit, maybe take a risk, try something, experiment. Gambling can pay off and it can also completely fail and you lose all your money. But with creative risk taking, I think the reward is well worth it. You definitely have to be smart, you have to be strategic, but when you over worry about your own work, your own ability, you over criticize, you ask other people, you're constantly worried about making the perfect product based on making every single person happy, I think you end up watering down the final result. This is really common if you look at Hollywood and some of the films that have been released recently that kind of feel like they're done by committee, where they go around and they ask every single person what they think, would make them happy or what they would like. And ultimately, all of those things are delivered and the product is underwhelming because it's giving people what they want, or maybe it's somehow subverting their expectations and that's not what they want either. And none of it seems authentic and genuine of someone just trying to tell a good story and make the best piece of content possible. It feels a lot about minimizing risk for the sake of profit or the fan base. I think this is true on a giant Hollywood scale, and it's just as true on a small independent project scale. If you're not willing to take a risk sometimes and just go with your gut, go with your instincts, try something that you think might work, even if other people might say that'll never work, it'll never turn out, that'll be awful. You risk trying things that could be really, really successful. Happens all the time with YouTubers and content creators. Oftentimes you'll hear stories, myself included, producing content that you try really, really hard and you take all the time in the world to make it perfect, and you listen to feedback and you work it until you think it's perfect and it's going to get 1 million views, and you roll it out there and it gets 100 and it's underwhelming and you feel like, why did I spend all that time, effort, and energy trying so hard on something I knew was going to be a home run and it ultimately turned out to be a total loss? Other times, there's projects that you might not even really think are all that great, or they're just kind of whatever, and you'll just do it to try something and see what happens. Might as well work at it. And that can be like lightning striking. It just can take off overnight, and it can be that kind of radical success you never expected. And maybe you look at it in hindsight and you go, wow, I wish I had tried harder. I wish I had done this, or the color, or the focus, or X, Y, or Z, whatever it is, fill in the blank. But you put it out there, you took a gamble, and it paid off. And oftentimes, this is the mentality I like to take with my approach to content. Try your best, work your hardest, but don't overanalyze to the point of fearing failure and then it ultimately being the reason it does fail. Oftentimes, it's the things that are slightly imperfect or that maybe are a little off the wall or not quite going to make everybody happy. Maybe they're a little controversial, or maybe they're a little questionable, or maybe you just don't know what people are going to think, and the only way to find out is to put it out there. I think that is the type of stuff that we should be encouraging people to do, to experiment, to be creative. That is what we're all about. If we always just deliver what's expected, I mean, we're not offering anything new. We're not moving things forward, and we're not testing boundaries and seeing what can be done with $1,000 cameras or $2,000 cameras, or what one person is able to achieve. Try stuff out, experiment, take a risk. Don't fear failure so much that it either paralyzes you into not doing anything, because that clearly will not breed success. If you're so afraid of failing and you never try, then you've already failed to begin with. And if you're so afraid of failing that you need it to be perfect and you worry about making every single person happy, then you'll probably end up making no one happy. And this is the unfortunate reality of just making content. oftentimes it is more beneficial, more successful to take a little bit of a risk. Put yourself out there, try something new, and see what happens.